From its foundation, the story of America has been a story of people arriving from somewhere else. But how deep does that impact go? Consider this. Over half of America's billion-dollar startups were founded by immigrants. This isn't a new trend. Nearly half of all Fortune 500 companies were also started by immigrants or their children. The evidence is clear. Immigration is an engine for American prosperity and innovation. So let's follow the data to see how immigrants built America, and then ask, why are they so often blamed for its problems? The impact of a few famous companies is one thing, but what does the contribution look like on a national scale? In a single recent year, immigrants added a staggering $2 trillion to the U.S. GDP. This is a foundational pillar of the economy. They are also massive net contributors through taxes. In 2022, legal immigrants paid over $580 billion in federal, state, and local taxes. And here's a number that might be unexpected. Even undocumented immigrants contributed massively, paying over $73 billion in taxes that same year. They make up nearly 1/5 of the entire U.S. labor force, representing millions of jobs filled, services provided, and businesses run. The data shows a clear picture. The American economy doesn't just benefit from immigrant labor, it fundamentally depends on it. But why does this matter so much? It's about growth. For the last 2 decades, immigration has been the single biggest driver of growth in the American workforce. Let's break that down because this is a defining economic fact of our time. We're talking about prime-age workers, people aged 25 to 54. Between 2000 and 2022, the foreign-born accounted for almost 3/4 of all growth in this vital group. Without them, our core workforce would be stalling. The other side of the coin isn't just filling jobs, it's creating them. Immigrants start new businesses at significantly higher rates than native-born citizens. They make up just 13% of the population, but account for 30% of all new entrepreneurs, a massive overrepresentation that fuels job creation. So, the mechanism is a powerful 1-2 punch. Immigrants are the primary source of new workers, and they are disproportionately the creators of new jobs. This drive extends into America's engine of innovation, the patent system. Immigrants are responsible for over 1/3 of all U.S. patents. Think about that. They account for nearly 1/4 of all U.S. innovation, while being a much smaller share of the population. This is a massive innovation surplus, and the contributions aren't just economic. They define American culture. Foundational music like jazz and blues was forged by the descendants of African immigrants. The sound of Broadway itself was crafted by the children of immigrants, like Gershwin and Bernstein. Their experience shaped the sound of the 20th century. From the economy to entrepreneurship, innovation to culture, the evidence of immigrant contribution is overwhelming, which raises a very difficult question. America has always been a nation of immigrants. But it has also, throughout its history, been a nation filled with fear and hatred of those same immigrants. If the economic and cultural data is so clearly positive, why does the political narrative so often turn hostile? Why are they so frequently used as scapegoats? This isn't new. The Irish in the 1840s, the Chinese in the 1880s, Italians and Eastern Europeans in the 1920s. Each wave has faced suspicion and blame. The language used today often echoes the fear-based rhetoric of the past. It focuses on perceived costs while ignoring the immense documented contributions. This creates a deep disconnect between the reality of immigration's benefits and the public perception shaped by political campaigns. It's a manufactured conflict. Let's return to our first facts. Over half of billion-dollar startups and nearly half of Fortune 500 companies. American capitalism's symbols are monuments to them. So, to answer our question, the scapegoating persists not because it's based in fact, but because it's a powerful political tool to create a simple external enemy. The irony is that attacking immigration is attacking the very engine of economic growth we established earlier. It's like trying to fix a car by slashing its tires. Therefore, the anti-immigrant narrative is not just a social issue. It's an act of economic self-sabotage, directly contradicted by decades of evidence. We've seen the overwhelming data. Immigrants are drivers of America's economy, innovation, and culture. They are not a drain. They are a catalyst. We've also seen that the narrative of blame is a recurring political tactic, not a reflection of reality. It's a historical pattern that ignores facts in favor of fear. Understanding this history and this data is the first step toward changing the conversation. The story of immigration is the American story. So next time you hear immigrants being blamed, remember the data. Look past the rhetoric and see the reality of who builds America.